there was this quote-unquote conspiracy to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, who was just recently reelected as governor of Michigan, and it turned out the people were instigating were working for the feds. Is that not correct?
14 people, 12 of them were FBI informants.
Holy crap. Okay, yeah.
So they fucking set everything up, and these people that got arrested and wound up doing time, they're like, this was all play. Like, I never really thought we were going to do it. Of course, I would say that, too, if they arrested me for trying to kidnap the governor.
Do you ever get accused of being a Fed?
No. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure if I go deep down the darkest... I'm called a shill for saying the earth is round. So I'm sure someone out there is calling me a Fed.
I'm at the level where I am controlled opposition. And then after that, if I get more successful, I'm going to be a psyop. So I'm looking forward to having that upgrade.
Yeah, I think I'm a useful idiot.
Oh, Lex gets called a Fed all the time.
Yeah.
Lex, are you a Fed?
I'm friends with Mike Baker, who used
he's a spook.
Used to be in the CIA.
Well, he's a real spook.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I know him. I know him from Fox.
I like him a lot. You know, so I get, like, he's my handler. People say he's my handler.
Oh, is that... Yeah. Why would your handler be open?
I don't know, because he's pretty fucking critical about the government sometimes, and pretty critical about, you know, the way people are handling things. But he also gives you an insight into foreign policy in a way that you're only going to get from someone who really understands it.
He has a very good sense of humor. I really enjoy him.
He's a great guy. Like a genuinely good guy. And fucking honest and about some stuff. I'm sure he doesn't tell me something.
Of course, he
can't.
No, but I've talked to him about stuff, and he's like stuff off the record that's like his little operations. And it's like, okay, this is what we did. You know, this is what I could tell you.
Yeah. But when he talks about foreign policy, it's from an educated perspective. He understands like how operations work, and I think that's a very valuable insight for people to hear it from a person like him who's served like that. Like it's a very different world, and we have this idealistic utopian view of the rest of the world.
Yeah, you're right. We have this idea that Biden and Putin are going to sit down in a room, or Biden Zelensky, and that's what's happening. That's going to be the show.
Yeah.
But if you're going to have a WWE, you have the writers, you have the meetings, you know, all the things behind the scenes. Look at the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yep.
You know, yeah, it looked like we rolled them, but it's just like, yeah, because Kennedy took credit and Khrushchev had to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah. And, you know, there's another problem that's going on right now is that they have a momentum of money running in that direction. Yeah. So that means there's immense amounts of profit, and the longer this goes on, the more profit can be raised. It's not.
And then it's the sunk cost fallacy, because it's like, well, we spent $50 billion. Are you just going to let $50 billion go to waste? All these lives lost go to waste. We got to get our ROI
out of Afghanistan and right into Ukraine.
Yeah, you're right. And do you know what else is interesting? And I'm just circling back to the whole national divorce thing. When people are like, "Oh, if Texas leaves, America won't ever let her go." We stopped hearing about the plight of women under the Taliban in Afghanistan, which is a real problem. Like, if you really were concerned about these humanitarian issues, that is a major, major concern. But because the narrative isn't there, it's like, screw those bitches.
Yeah, the narrative of the mistreatment of women in certain countries run by dictators is never discussed.
Right.
You know, it's always how bad America is.
But it's also like, now that we're not there, it's like, too bad.
It's a complex chess game they're playing all over the world, and it's also being motivated heavily by money and resources, control of resources.
And power.
Power. It's all this weird game that leaders play, and we're stuck. We're stuck being a part of something that can, like, directly have horrific consequences for everyone. Everyone.
I'm just gladdened by, and thanks to people like Jimmy Dore, is a great example.
He's
Tulsi,
the best.
I love him. I was just on his
too.
show. He was on my show.
He's the best.
The idea that, like, we should take everything coming out of D.C., out of both parties, war parties, with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
And I think the fact that that's become normalized is really a great thing. If they had their druthers, we'd be in Syria by the boatloads, as one easy example.
It's, you know, it goes back to Eisenhower. Goes back to his...
It goes back to Wilson.
But that speech that he gave on television.
Oh, yeah, the military-industrial complex, yeah.
That speech, to this day, like, my God, what did he know that he was trying to warn us about? Because this is a guy, World War II.
Right, he was the guy.
Yeah, I mean, and he's telling us that there's a fucking industry that wants to go to war, and we have to be careful of this. And now it's, like, not even discussed.
And but now, I think now it's not even hidden.
No.
I think it's really understood that, you know what's really funny? It was like 1 minute it was Trump's a lunatic for talking about the deep state, and then the next day it's like, thank God we have the deep state to fight Trump, and without blinking an eye.
Right.
And I think without him in the picture, people, because he in many ways is a distraction because of his huge personality, his aggression, his tweets, which I certainly enjoyed more than anyone. But without him there as a, like, either you're for Trump or you have TDS, people are like, wait a minute, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on that has nothing to do with this.
Nothing to do with it.
That's nothing with him.
And if Republicans were doing it, people would be up in arms.
Yes, yeah.
Up in arms. The same people that have Ukraine flags in their Twitter bio, they would be up in arms.
Can you, if Trump tried to send troops to Ukraine, forget it. It would be calls for impeachment.
So fucking captured. This country is so captured by these tribal ideologies. It's so strange. And when a person like you comes along, that a self-proclaimed anarchist, that's why people don't know what to do with you.
It's really fun.
It's weird. They don't know what to do with you. You're like, I don't think there should be any police. I don't think there should be any government.
It's
like,
also
what?
really funny because then it's like, what's your because they can't put me in a box.
Right.
What's your real agenda? When you saying you want Texas to be independent, what do you really mean? I'm like, I want Texas to be independent. Okay, but is it for Israel? Is it for China? Is it because this? Because that? Because you're really a Democrat? It's like, okay, whatever
You're
answer
really a
bothers you most is what I tell them.
You're really a Democrat.
Oh, I get that a lot. You're friends with Blair. You're clearly a Democrat. That's the logic. That's literally the logic.
Isn't she red?
Yeah, but she's trans, so she's a Democrat.
Oh my God.
This is the thinking.
Yeah. Hilarious.
It's
Anybody who doesn't believe trans people should be trans, like no one should be trans, you got to meet Blair White.
Well,
and you go,
good-
oh, well, okay.
Good luck meeting her. She's not very friendly.
Oh, I like her. She's friendly to me.
I know, but me and her spend way too much time.
But you know what I'm
hanging out.
saying?
I
It's
know
like-
exactly what you're saying.
The people that don't think that, it's like that's part of the problem that I have with some people on the right. It's like when it gets to like LGBTQ people, especially like gay marriage and stuff, like why do you give a fuck? Like what are we doing?
Well, Deborah So talks a lot about this in her book, At the End of Gender, and where she talks about like for a lot, because the argument is, well, they're all crazy. It's like, okay, sure, but what are you going to do with the so-called crazy person? And So talks in her book, like for a lot of people, they grow out of it, but for a lot of them, transitioning actually does help their mental health.
yeah,